Hey, what's going on? This is Josh Noel with PremiumBeat, and in this After Effects tutorial, we're going to create a product promo. So here we are inside of After Effects, and we're going to take a very close look at typography and very subtle animation to help put our products forth and center with the right information. So perhaps you are doing a promo video for a website that wants to display all the products on like a web banner, or perhaps you're doing a Facebook advertisement and you want a very simple way to put products out there for like a 40% sale or something like that. This tutorial is going to show you how to do a cool product promo. Now, if you're in a time crunch, template on rocketstock.com called Vendor, which has a lot of product displays and some nice areas to display your information about the product, already pre-made and ready to go. So if you're in a time crunch, like I said, you go ahead and purchase this and you'll be ready to go, and you'll be able to get your video out very quickly. For those of us who want to learn how to do something cool like this, let's go ahead and let's get started now. So first things first, let's go ahead and create a new composition by clicking the film strip here, and I'll just call this one Tut, and I'm using 1920 by 1080. Click OK. And the first thing I'd like to do is create a background. So what we're going to do is go to Layer, New, Solid, and we can call this one BG. Click OK, and go up to Effect, Generate, Gradient Ramp. And first things first, set the ramp shape to radial, and we'll grab the starter ramp anchor point here, and we'll set it to the center of our composition. So we have this, and then go ahead and maybe select like your brand color or whatever. So I'm going to select the light blue, and then I'm going to select that blue color and go back to the end color here and make it a little bit darker, so we have this nice gradient in here. And I might go to the ender ramp and take the Y position here and bring this down by a little bit, so we kind of smooth out that gradient by a little bit. And of course, increase the ramp scatter so there's no more banding. If you see any banding on YouTube, it's just because of the compression of YouTube. So we'll come here and let's get started with some real stuff. So first things first, we have one product here, so we're going to sell some suits. What I'd like to do is bring that into our composition right off the start and start doing some layout. So here's our product, and when you have your product in here, what I suggest doing, go to Layer, Pre-Compose, and you can call it Product 1. Move all attributes into new composition, click OK. And the reason why we pre-compose is so that you have like a product later that you can just drop in here and it's just no problem, right? So that's cool. And what we can do is start to position this. So let's say we only want to show off the gray suit here. No problem, we can do that. And now what we can do is grab, say, the pen tool, and we can kind of shape this out a little bit. So we come here and say it's going to take up that majority of the screen, so we're able to kind of have this nice arced view here. And boom, there's our product. And if we have to, we can go back into the regular composition and move it over by a touch, and we'll maximize that. All right, no problem. So since we have a mask here, what I'd like to do is go to Effect, Generate Stroke, and I'm going to come over here and set this to, and we turn this off for a second. If we toggle our mask button right here, you can see that there's a white stroke right here at the edge, and we can increase the brush size to like 5. And I want to set the brush hardness to 100%. So now we have this very nice stroke that goes in with our image, and it makes it separated from the background and with our product image. So before we get into all the cool animation in which we'll do in this tutorial, we need to lay out our text, kind of get the entire layout done before we do any animations, so we can do what makes sense. So we'll grab our title here. So maybe you want to put in your like a logo, or for our case, we'll just use a generic name. So we'll call this one. So for a mock business, I'm going to call this one Clothes Warehouse. So what I'll do is I'll kind of just choose a generic typeface here, maybe Shelby, which is in the Adobe Type Kit. I'm not going to focus too much on the name of the business here because this should just really be a logo. But what I really want to focus on is all the other titles and how we can make smart graphic design decisions to make those stand out from everything else. So let's say this is a promotion that we're running, and we want all web visitors on our website to say, hey, all deals are 40% off. Okay, so obviously we can't use a typeface that's unreadable. Clearly we can't do that. So what I'm going to do is grab one of my favorite typefaces. It's called Beatbaz Nuu, and it's right here. And it's very easy to read. And you see we have obvious contrast between our title of our business and the promotion here. So obviously you might not have that apparent contrast, but make sure that what's important is really big. So that's something you need to consider, like what is the most important information here, and make sure that's all lined up perfectly. And what you can do to do a perfect alignment is grab both your titles, go to the Align tab, and grab this left align, and these will be perfectly aligned with each other, no problem. And if you don't see the Align tab, go up to Window, Align. Alright, so let's go ahead and start adding some other titles here. So since we're doing a very specific product here, let's go ahead and duplicate this main title, and let's bring this down. And generally, what you want to do is make sure you only pick out 2 titles to mess with here. So we'll come here and we'll call this one Gray Suit. Maybe that's just a very generic name, but for the purpose of the tutorial, I think it'll be okay. Now, let's say that this title has a subtitle, right? So maybe we can call this one 3-piece checkered. Okay, so obviously now we don't want to use the same typeface as, you know, Gray Suit here. We want to change this up. So this is where you want to get into your second typeface, and I'm not including the closed warehouse as a typeface we're using because that's just the logo. And we'll come over here and we'll select a more, I would say, we'll come over here and we'll select a different style of typeface so these stand out. So I'm going to grab one of my favorite typefaces, which is Gotham. And we'll do like a book style, and we'll make sure we make this a little bit smaller. And if we click the all caps icon down here, which is TT, it'll make it all caps. And we come over here and nicely position this down. So now we have some apparent contrast and focus. So let's say we want to do like a little bit of information here. Maybe this is going to be up for, you know, 10 seconds so someone can read it. So come here, grab the textile tool, and let's drag out a box like so. And I'm going to go over here and just paste in some information. And let's say that's our title there. And basically what I did here is I used the same typeface as Gotham here. Alright, and obviously I had the same typeface as our subtitle here. Okay, so perfect. And make sure you select all your layers and go up to Align and make sure to right align them so everything is going to look good. And we'll come here and just space these out a little bit better. Okay, and then I want to add one last graphic here. Obviously maybe the price of the suit or whatever product that we're trying to sell here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to the top, and I'm going to grab the ellipse tool, make sure no layer is selected, and I'm going to click and hold down shift on our keyboard to draw out a perfect circle like this. And I'm going to grab the textile tool again, and I'm going to say put it in a price. Maybe we'll just do a very subtle price here, no problem. And we'll go back to Beat Baz New. And then we'll grab both these layers here, and we'll go to the Align tab and center both of them up. So it's just like that, and then we can place these strategically. Now what I suggest doing, if you're going to put a price on top of a product, go to the shape layer, hit T on your keyboard for opacity, and lower it down to like 40% or so you can see through it, and there's apparent contrast. So maybe we'll do like 50 to 70%. Go to like, we'll do like 60% opacity. And to complement this stroke right here that's dividing the text and the image, we can click on the word stroke and set it to solid color and set to a pixel count of say like 4, and you see we have an apparent stroke there. And let's go ahead and open up the shape layer. Let's go into the contents, go into the ellipse 1, go to the fill 1, and lower the opacity down to 60% so we can slightly see through it, and obviously we'll still see some of the suit. And now I would say we have most of our basic elements in here, and we're ready to start animating. So let's start animating and making this look good. So let's grab our first product here, and let's do a nice position animation. Hit P on your keyboard for position, add a keyframe for it, and move it forward in time. And we can just do like a nice Y position like so. So this will kind of just come in like this. Grab the last keyframe and make an easy ease keyframe by hitting F9 on your keyboard. And then let's go to the stroke over here, and let's animate this in specifically. So once this product's in, let's add a keyframe for start percentage. Hit U on your keyboard to bring up all the keyframes. Bring that keyframe forward in time by like a second, and set the start percentage to the point where it's off the screen like this. So it should just come in like that. Make the last keyframe an easy ease keyframe by hitting F9. Perfect. So that comes in, no problem. And then let's talk about the price tag here. So we'll come over here, we'll grab our price and our shape layer, which is the circle here. And we'll go up to layer pre-compose, and we just call this one price tag, and click OK. And hit S on your keyboard for scale. So if we come here and we scale this down, you can see that's going to scale towards the anchor point right here. So what we want to do is we want to grab the pan behind tool right here and grab this anchor point and put it in the center of our price tag. So now if we scale it, it's going to scale in from that anchor point. So what we can do here is do a nice scale animation. So once this pops up, we'll do add a keyframe for scale, move this forward in time by almost a second, set it to 0%, make both keyframes easy ease keyframes by hitting F9 on your keyboard, and now we have this. And let's also hit Shift R to bring up the rotation, add a keyframe for it, bring that keyframe forward in time, and we'll rotate it by a little bit, so maybe 50 degrees. So it'll kind of come in from a nice angle. Of course, make both those keyframes easy ease keyframes as well. And we run through this real quick and see what we have here. And it's still very slow. We'll probably come and refine this a little bit, but let's work on the title over here so all that can complement each other. So I want to animate our all deals text in, and what I want to do is I want to go to the Animate tab, and I want to add a scale parameter. And we can come over here, set the scale down to 0%, and we'll go here to the range selector. We'll add a keyframe for start percentage. Leave this keyframe here, we'll move forward in time, and we'll set it to 100%. So now each letter will come on kind of like this, kind of scaling in. And then what I want to do is go to the Advanced tab, and I want to set the based on from characters to words. So each word will just pop up individually like this, no problem. And we'll make the last keyframe an easy ease keyframe by hitting F9 on our keyboard. And what I want to make sure we do is highlight each word kind of after this animation is done. So what I want to do is add another Animate tab and add a scale again. And what I want to do here is, of course, increase the scale by a little bit. And right around this point, I want to highlight each word. So what I want to do is open the range selector again, add a keyframe for start percentage, move this keyframe forward in time, set it to 100%, and go to the Advanced again and set this to words, the based on to words. So now each word will kind of come in like this, and I'm going to come through here and time reverse these keyframes real quick. Then I want to add a keyframe for end percentage and set this to 0%, and move forward in time and set this to 100%. And then I'm going to offset these keyframes by a little bit. Overall, we animated in and we add more focus to this title. And obviously now we want to animate everything else as well. So I really want more attention on that one. And let's talk about animating some of these in here. And we do some very subtle things as well. So let's come here, open this property up, go to Animate. And we'll come here and let's say we want to add, say, like a position. So what we can do is increase the position, kind of fall off like over here. And we'll go to range selector and we increase the start percentage. It'll kind of come on word by word like that. And that's pretty cool. So add a keyframe for start percentage. And we'll move forward in time. And we'll set the start percentage to 100%. And we can make the last keyframe an easy ease keyframe. I also want to take a look at exploring animation presets. So we come here to effects and preset, go to animation presets, go to text, go to animate in, and we can do some cool things. So maybe we'll do like decoder fade in for our 3-piece checkered. Hit U on your keyboard to bring up the keyframes, and we can bring these in, move these over by a little bit, and boom, there we have that. And then for our main text down here, we can do some maybe a slow fade on. Hit U on your keyboard, bring those keyframes up, and bring the last keyframe in so we can speed it up, and then kind of just bring that in over there. Cool. Alright, so we basically have everything nicely animated with the emphasis on all deals. And then obviously we might want to animate our logo on, and I don't want to do any specific animation to it as it could just be a logo layer. So make sure that your logo layer is selected, go to layer, transform, and click on center anchor point and center layer content, or layer content there. And now we can just hit S on our keyboard for scale, add a keyframe for it, move it forward in time, and we set it to 0%. And we'll make both keyframes easy ease keyframes, and I'll make it very nice and smooth. Boom. Okay, let's go ahead and run through this real quick and see what we have. So now that we have this very basic product screen in here, you can come here and duplicate this and add more products in here. And even if you want to, you can come to your placeholder here, kind of trim up your layers, and you can always add more products in here, and it'll automatically update in this composition. And then you can change your text. So at this point, you're pretty much set up for success. You have all those options for the parameters inside each of the text layers. You have a lot of animation presets, and you can really bring emphasis on what's important here. So before you render everything out, make sure to turn on motion blur and turn it on at the top, and we'll render out a quick preview. And after a quick render, this is what we have. We have our nice presentable promo animation for our products, for our website, our Facebook ads, and we should be able to do some nice work and be able to expand off of this for more products. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. For more tutorials, please be sure to check out our blog. And if you're in the need for royalty-free music, we have a huge library full of great music for your projects. And once again, thank you for watching this video. And this has been Joshua Noel from PremiumBeat.com.